All right, welcome back. We're looking at putting on the score for the game onto the screen. So we'll get started here in a second. So we're going to look in the icons group. Let's see what we have sprites-wise for icons. You see one that says high score. Probably the digits that we're looking for. But we want to create an object called score. And so we look in our object menu. Here's our icons. We haven't created that yet. So let's do that first. Create object. We'll call it obj underscore score. Underscore score. It's a little repetitive. Underscore. And the sprite we'll give it is, there's a score sprite. So be under icons, sprite icon score. That's the one. So this is just like the title. It's not the actual score. It's just telling you that's where the score is. It's just the letters S and C. And the question is where to put it. Previous video we created a score layer, so this is probably where we want to do that. So we have to assign the layer in the create event. So let's do that first. Here, we'll run some code, execute code, and basically all we're doing is saying, get rid of this, scooch it over. Okay, so we're saying layer. Okay, so each object has a layer variable, and we're going to set that equal to the score layer. If we look at what we did in collect count for that in the create event, basically we'll do that right there. So going back to score, putting that here, they're both going to be on the same layer. And then we need to add a draw event. So here's our draw event. And then the first thing we do is we want to move it to the top left corner of the current view. So, well, at the camera's view, I guess. So let's also borrow some code from collect count. We've got here in the draw event, we've got this. So we'll grab all that and see what we can do to modify it. Go back down here to object score, draw event. We're going to switch this to GML mode. And then we can just paste that in there. So certainly we're going to need the camera view, and we need to get the X and Y from the camera, so that's going to still be the same. Next we draw the sprite, but this time instead of icon collect, we're doing icon score, so we'll change that. We'll see how much of this is the same from the previous thing. And then image index. Let's see if we need to use that. Okay, so we're using 3020, so it's going to be way up at the top of the screen. So for X, it's going to be 30. And then here for cam Y, we're just adding 20 to it. So just a little down from the top of the screen. And then for the image index, I wonder what to use. I guess we want to set that equal to -1. Since this doesn't have more than one frame in it, so we'll leave that at -1. And then, so we draw it at that location, and then now comes time for the fancy stuff. And this is where we do the digits. So we're going to set the digits to 6 here, and we're going to use the same kind of idea. It's not a percentage anymore. It's just a number. So think we can get rid of that completely. So get rid of that. And then here, what variable are we looking for? Well, obviously we're just looking for the score. So we'll just put the score in here instead of, and the score is the global score. And then we're replacing all the spaces with zeros. So we'll start out with just a bunch of zeros, 6 zeros, I guess. And then anything else we have to do? Yeah, I guess we have to repeat this for each digit. Again, this is very similar. We use the digits icon. Let's see if there's anything here we have to change. Digit. Yeah, I guess the location down here. So our locations then, it's relative. So we say CamX. Here we're going to say 44. So just a little to the right where we start. And then 16 times digit. Yeah, that doesn't change. And then CamY. This is the major difference. We're just going to put it at 20. Just like the one above. And then we subtract 1 from digits. So we're just building the string backwards, kind of going through the string. Same structure that we had for the percentage. Let's see what that looks like. I don't see it. Nowhere to be seen. So what I do is I go hunting around for it. If I can't find it, my guess is it's up here somewhere, maybe. Nope. Looking around. Well, I think our problem right now actually is we haven't put it in the room yet. I wonder how it gets in there. It's a good question. Perhaps. Yeah, I guess, you know, one thing we forgot to do, I guess, in the last video and in this video as well, is where do these get created? Do we just plop them in the room to start with? Then you'd have to remember to do that in every room, and that's a little bit cumbersome. We do have, under miscellaneous, we have, we have the collect object. The interesting thing is I don't know if we have a controller object. It doesn't look like we have one. You know, just like a game controller. We have that in a lot of other games, but this one doesn't look, well, maybe I'm looking here at sprites. So let's see if we have under miscellaneous a controller. Yeah, there's the controller. I'm assuming it's in the room. So what we can do is in the controller's create event, we can do a create object. Doesn't matter really where we create it because it's going to reposition itself anyway. So we're creating, first we can do the collect count, and we'll just say 0, 0. Which layer do we put it on? Here we're going to put it on the scores layer. So that would allow us to get rid of the requirement to change the layer right there in the create event, because this is going to put it on the correct layer. We'll put it on the score layer, and then we also want to create the score itself on the score layer. So we go to icons, score, and again, what layer do we want that to be on? And we want that to be on the score layer. Makes sense. And then now we can go to these things, and in the create event we can get rid of these execute code things. Let's see how to do that. I'll just do that, and then we'll do the same, because that code would be redundant, so we might as well clean it up. Create event, this is all there is in the create event, so we'll just delete that event. Cut event. Right. All right, as long as there's a controller in the room, these should get created. Let's find out if we have a controller in the room. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so here's our game. Our score's right up there. Let's see if it actually keeps score. I wonder. Whee! Score's not changing. See that? We're picking up candies. We're supposed to get 100 points for that. Not happening. But at least we're seeing the score, right? This seems to be working. You know, the candy count thing. We should see the exit up here. And we restart. We have an option to restart. So we've got the score on the screen now. That's good. We're not putting anything in the score quite yet. Let's see if there's anything else we need to do. All right, so where we're supposed to put that, I guess, is here in the create event for the 100 points thing. We forgot to set the score, I guess. That'd be in the create event. So let's do that. Just type in score here. Draw score, set score. And evidently candies are worth 100, since that's what it says. So we'll say 100 points. We'll say relative, certainly, so it gets added to. And try it one more time. All right, so going over where the candies are. Let's see. What's our score as we collide with this? The score is not changing. Puzzled by that. We have that in the create event of the 100 points. The question is, why isn't it being set? Score is a global variable, so I'm a little puzzled here. All right, so I'm going to set a debug screen right here just to see what we're reading for the score text-wise. So I would say show debug message, and maybe I'll just say score. And see what it prints out. And that'll be down here in the output window. And that'll happen every time it draws. So we're going to get a lot of these, certainly. See how the score is 0. Keeps playing 0 over and over again. Score is still 0. See, it hasn't changed at all. Still adding a bunch of zeros. So the score isn't changing when we're going over the... Doesn't look like it's changing. Like here, I pick up a candy. No change to the score down here. All right, so I'm looking at the 100 points create event. I converted it just to preview what the GML looks like. And notice that they're not using the score variable. They're using something called _DND score, which is evidently the score. D&D must be for drag and drop. Since we're mixing drag and drop and GML, it looks like they have 2 different scores now, which is kind of strange. So, yeah, what do we do? Yeah, this is a puzzle. I would say we just use this one, although I don't know. It's not a built-in variable. So I'm a little curious about this. Maybe what we do is we convert this to just regular GML and see what happens. So we're going to do that. Here, there's a way to convert drag and drop stuff to GML, and we'll see what it actually generates. Convert to GML. It's a one-way conversion. Okay, so anytime you have a one-way conversion like that, you probably want to save your game in case you change your mind. So I'm going to cancel here and save the game, just in case things go awry. And now I'm going to convert it to GML, Game Maker language. Interesting. They're still using that D&D score thing. If variable exists, ID D&D score. So they're being really careful here. Yeah, very strange. Okay, so we're going to use this variable Maybe it gets created because we started the game as a drag and drop game, so maybe that's the score it uses. So evidently that's the score we need to use, not the one here. So in the draw event, then I'm going to put instead the D&D score, and then we'll also use that for when we grab it. We'll see if we actually get a score popping on the screen. So always little complications like this. It's frustrating. Uh-oh, it crashed. That did not work. Okay, so let's just try to make this simple then. We're not going to do all this stuff. Get rid of that. Also get rid of this. And we'll just say score plus equals 100. And that will add to the score. Now this isn't the create event, right? Score is global, so it already exists, or it should already exist. So now we go back here to the score object and change it back. So I'll do a Control Z, Y. That was weird. Very strange. So it's complaining about that. So we're going to replace that with score, the global score. And then here too. I just want to see it. It's kind of overkill, but we'll see the score in the output window when we run it. So trying that again. Got to kill that first, and then try it again. All right, so there's our game. Run, jump. Score's changing. Cool. So now we're keeping track of the score. Now the question is, what things allow you to score in the game? Looks like you're picking up candies. I don't know if there's a score for killing monsters. I haven't seen that. So I guess the goal is to collect as many collectibles as possible. And in this level, the collectibles are candies, but perhaps in other levels you're going to have different kind of collectibles. But now we can keep score. So we got the score. What else do we need here? I guess, yeah, there's a timer, which we're not going to implement, at least not right now. And then there's a high score, so you can see what the high score is. I guess the only other thing is lives. So we're going to do that in the next video, I guess. Lives is coming up next. So while editing the video, I noticed there's an extra % sign there. It's this one here. So we're going to get rid of that. We don't need that for certainly the score. So I should have been a little bit more careful. So let's see. See how we're drawing the % sprite? We don't want to do that. So we're going to whack that. Delete that. And now when we play, we don't get that extra % sign. Then I think it should work right. And we'll get rid of the debug message too, because that's a little bit annoying. That'll waste a lot of output since it happens every frame. All right, that should do it.